On what some of the court papers have to say. For instance, he is challenging Rule 25.0 of the ANC Constitution. He's also challenging the timing of when he was served with the suspension letter and when it was drafted. So let's speak a little bit more about this with our reporter Samkele Maseko. So I was just outlining some of what is in the court papers that Ace Magashule served on Luthuli House. Talk to us a little bit more about what else is in it, and is it being viewed as an act of defiance?
Essentially, yes, it is being viewed as an act of defiance by the entitled Secretary-General of the ANC, alias Samkele Maseko, because he is the custodian of ANC conference resolutions that were taken at the 54th National Conference in Nasrec, and Ace Magashule is the first sitting government official of the ANC since the party was unbanned in 1991, that you've got a sitting Secretary-General of the ANC who has taken the governing party to the courts to challenge the constitutionality of the step-aside resolution that was taken at the 54th National Conference of the African National Congress. You remember Ace Magashule speaking last year in Bloemfontein outside the Magistrates Court. Our colleague in Tlantlakhatlane has just had that upsound in the background of his brilliant package now, where Ace Magashule says that if branches of the ANC ask him to step aside, he will then do so because it will be coming from the basic unit of the governing party, which is the branches. So he's always had this view that the highest decision-making body of the ANC doesn't have the powers to suspend him or also to force ANC members to step aside. Thus, he has gone far in that interview that we had with him last week to exclusively say on the SABC that this step-aside resolution is targeted at removing him and Bongani Bongo. But, Tsepiso, what is more critical in those papers of Ace Magashule is that he is saying that the step-aside resolution must be declared unlawful by the courts of law. He goes further to say his suspension must then be lifted. But to put the icing on top of the political conundrum that the governing party faces is that Ace Magashule then says his unlawful suspension of the ANC president must then be endorsed by the court and enforced by the court until it is declared unlawful should President Ramaphosa or the ANC decide to take that issue of his suspension of Ramaphosa to the court.
On what rationale does he stand on, Samkele, if by his own words he believes or deems the step aside to be unconstitutional? So what is the basis of serving the president of the ANC with a suspension letter? And also, you'd recall that he was asked to apologise because he was said not to have had a mandate from any organ within the party. So from whom did he get the mandate then to suspend the president?
Essentially, that's the thrust that I was getting to, that Ace Magashule in his own court paper says that he feels as if he does not owe the ANC structures, the ANC president, an apology. But it is in fact the ANC itself and the president of the ANC that owes him an apology for the suspension that he's currently facing, in saying that the ANC 54th National Conference resolution of step aside has 10 points. And those 10 points are that all individuals that are also alleged to be involved in wrongdoing, malfeasance, must also go to the Integrity Commission of the party and provide reasons for the alleged misdeeds that they've performed. If they are not providing sufficient evidence or concrete evidence to the Integrity Commission, or they're not persuasive enough, then the Integrity Commission can have a recommendation that they also step aside. If they fail to do so, they must also be suspended. But what those who are saying that the ANC's NEC resolution, that all of those who are charged with fraud and serious crimes must step aside, they are failing to check that 10.4, the point in that 10 point of the ANC says that the party has the right to disassociate itself with those who are charged with serious crimes, fraud, corruption, money laundering, and racketeering and malfeasance. And if they fail to step aside, then the party can suspend them, which is the resolution the ANC's National Executive Committee used to essentially force those that are charged to step aside, which the SG says is unlawful and must be declared unlawful by the courts of South Africa at the South Gauteng High Court, where he will be represented by Mabuza Attorneys and Senior Counsel Advocate Dali Mpofu. But this has sent the governing party into a tailspin because his own region, Fezile in Paris in the Free State, has said that they are going to interdict the ANC's NEC should it take a decision that Ace Magashule must step aside or should it suspend him. But to put the icing on top of the cake of this political conundrum that the ANC faces is that Ace Magashule is essentially saying that there is no apology that will be coming from him. In fact, it is the governing party, the ANC, that should apologize to him, basically saying to the ANC, you will be getting no apology from me. Heck, let's meet at the court.
My colleague there, Samkele Maseko.